I hit the jeweler, got some goals. I sold a little weed, but I could never sell my soul. And when I'm in LA, you find me out in Lil Toke. I'm a vocal with my ramen, I'ma need another blow. Let's go.
The podcast today is sponsored by Established Titles. Established Titles, we're not a scam, right? Welcome to another edition of the M&K Productions Podcast. I'm your host, Mac, joined here with my co-host, Kristen, aka Mr. Flamingo. How you doing, Kristen?
We are not sponsored by Established Titles. We are sponsored by Apex Legends. No, I'm kidding.
Apex Legends.
We're sponsored by, what is the wallet one? The
Ridge Wallet.
Ridge Wallet.
And it's Raid Shadow Legends, not Apex Legends.
No, we get all the sponsors. Let's admit it. We get all the sponsors.
The joke's dead. But welcome to another episode of the M&K Productions Podcast. We are happy to join you, have everyone be on again, because it's been a minute since we had an episode, and I think we just hit 90 episodes.
We did hit 90, so it was a good point just to, pause a minute on the guests. We have more guests expected to come on in the future, but for now, we're giving you guys just us.
Yeah,
it's a little one-on-one time with us.
The just us episodes are fun to because it's just us, and we don't have to act in front of people, and we talk like ourselves. We can tell each other to go fuck off.
Well, here's the thing: you and I have seen each other now as like brother and sister. So yes. I feel like the way we talk about films and how we just interact with each other, it's just like we're rambling off to each other. Like, no joke, guys. Mac and I just sat here for the first 25 minutes. We didn't even hit record, and we just talked about random stuff going on. That's just how Mac and I have grown close to each other, and just how we are with each other, and how the way our show has become,
Classic. But Kristen, what are we doing on today's show?
Okay, today we're going to talk some news. Maybe we'll talk about Spotify Wrapped because that dropped today. We are also talking about the news. Did I just say that? Did I repeat myself twice?
Yes, you did.
Whoops. All right, so we are then going to talk about Pinocchio because we just had to review Robert Zemeckis and his retrospective. So thank you to Darius and Film Toppings for coming on last episode. I hope you guys enjoyed that because they were great guests, and that was a killer episode to edit. And then we're just going to wrap it up with Upfronts because now we are got to kick ourselves into holiday season, and we got some plans for the holidays for you all. And also, not just that, Mac has plans for the holidays too. You got 25 days of Mac movies. Mac,
MMR Xmas.
MMR Xmas.
Yes, and I'd like to announce too, by the time this podcast come out, we are doing a sale in our store. If you use promo code MMR25, you'll get free shipping from December 1st all the way to December 23rd.
That is correct.
And we have I have made some die cut stickers. We did a little revamping. And we'll be revamping the store a little bit more going into the new year. But this is a nice little sale to get us off going for the holiday season. So use the code word MMR25 to get free shipping on your entire order. And the link will be in the description to our store, of course.
Yep, get those gifts if you want to support us, if you want to get your friends and family some M&K production merch. Rep us for the holidays. Rep us for the new year.
Yeah.
Get your merch. As Jake Paul says, buy that merch. He had that Christmas song. Remember that, Mac?
No.
Oh, God, don't. I would say do yourself a favor and look that up.
No, I will
don't
not
look that up.
But if we're all set with the intro, I think you wanted to do something about our Spotify Wrap before you get into
Yes. Today is the day as we're recording. This is November 30th right now. Spotify has dropped Spotify Wrapped. And it is tradition, as every year, everybody gets to see what's on their Spotify Wrap. And if you follow Apple Music, you don't count for this one.
Get the hell out of here.
This is made for Spotify, like users and people who listen on Spotify, yada, yada, yada. And they basically use their algorithm platform. They have their ways of tracking what you listen to over the years. So from what I remember reading online, I know they take it from like the period of I think it is the January of the beginning of the year. And then it goes all the way to at least October of the beginning of the year. This is what I thought. This is what I think they did last year. So don't 100% quote me on it. But they give you your top artists, your top songs, your top genres, yada, yada, yada. And I got mine Mac, you got yours too?
Yes.
All right. I think it would be fun. You know, we always talk about film. Let's talk about some music we like to listen to every once in a while, you know?
Want a break from the ads? If you tap now to watch a short video, you'll receive 30 minutes of ad-free music.
So, Mac, would you like to read off your Spotify Wrapped 2022?
So, for my Spotify Wrapped Up, if this long ass animation would stop, this year I ventured into the genreverse. Cringe. I explored 34 different genres. I have rap, number 1, alternative metal, number 2, urban contemporary as number 3, rock, number 4, and underground hip hop is number 5. From sunrise to sunset, you kept it interesting. Your morning started with funny, good vibes, joy.
I wonder what that meant then.
You seized the day with relaxing, cozy, soothing. And then you embraced the night with hype, poetic motivation.
Hype, poetic motivation.
Yep, all that listening added up in total. Your total playtime was 31,255 minutes. That's more than 83% of the United States people. With the one song, it was Love at First Sight.
By who?
Listen, it was your
by
top
who?
song. No, your top song was "We Win" by Kirk Franklin from the Space Jam New Legacy soundtrack.
I love it.
You played 514 songs. Of these played again and again and again. The songs were my top songs of the year. Number 1, "We Win" with Kirk Franklin. Space Jam: A New Legacy by Lil Baby. Amari by J. Cole. Married to the Game by Future. Pride is the Devil with Lil Baby with J. Cole and Lil Baby. Fight for You from the original motion picture. Judas and Black Messiah, number 5 by her.
That's a good song.
I love it. Your year cannot be contained in a playlist, but we tried anyway. Here's your top. Oh yeah, that's it. You listened to 461 artists this year, but one ruled your world. It was J. Cole. What else?
You love J. Cole.
Yes, I was in the top 2%. Yes. You like these artists so much, we put them on the cover of magazine. J. Cole. J. Cole was number 1. WWE is number 2. Lil Baby was number 3. Future was 4. And Dr. Dre was 5. You spent 20,426 minutes listening to the podcast. My top podcasts were the Pizza Party Podcast, Prim's Hood Stories, and Prim's Hood Cinema in the top 3. My year, I had layers like an onion, but I listen to music like an onion. My listening personality is the connoisseur.
What does that mean?
If you like a song, odds are that others do too. You got taste that people can get behind with music preferences proven by popularity and time.
Oh, okay.
Yep, and that's it. I don't know if that means I'm a trendsetter, but no, I try to listen to as many different songs as I can. Shout out to the alternative rock though.
Shout out to alternative rock.
Overall meaning, I like J. Cole.
J. Cole, that's how it is. All right. So did you enjoy last year's thing more? Because I have
legitimately only the same thing. Literally just the same thing. It's carbon copy.
Yeah. Because from the way that you were saying it, it sounded like nothing had changed.
No, honestly, I can pull up last year's Wrapped and it will be the same thing.
So for mine is very different from you. Okay, so I explored 25 different genres.
Nice.
From sunrise to sunset, it kept interesting. In the morning, you started with sentimental, hygiene, peppy, whatever that means. It just sounds so like the way it looks to me, it looks like so white girl. So the next part is you seize the day with comforting, hopeless, romantic, bittersweet. So that's where the Taylor Swift kicked in at some point. We got the Taylor Swift part, that's just the bittersweet romance part. We got the peppy, sentimental, the bittersweet romantic, yada, yada, yada. All right. Then, come on, where's night? You embrace the night with energy, confident, empowering. So that's when, like...
That is I don't even know.
Maybe like some Dua Lipa kicking in, maybe.
Okay.
I like Dua Lipa. And then all that listening added up 17,000.
Jesus.
I listened to a lot of Spotify, but here's the thing. I listen to straight up music on Spotify. If I'm gonna
I do podcasts and music.
Podcasts, I do strictly on YouTube. That's the other thing. In 2022, your total play times was 17 1,000 minutes. That's more than the 68% of listeners in the United States.
Jesus Christ. I had 83%.
With one song, it was Love at First Listen. This song I know is going to be playing at the my future wedding.
Uh-oh.
And it is Kygo featuring DNCE. So Joe Jonas of the Jonas Brothers. Top song was Dancing Feet. And that song is a absolute
that doesn't surprise me.
I love this song. And I played it 89 times.
Good God.
I love that song. If you haven't heard it, go listen to it. It is so good. Like, I listen to that song religiously, like a lot. Like, but I played 1,871 songs, but these songs played again and again. And I was surprised about this. As It Was number 2 by Harry Styles. Late Night Talking was number 3. Smoking Out the Windows by Bruno Mars and Anderson .Paak. That's aka Silk Sonic at number 4. And then Move by DNCE with number 5. DNCE has released new music, so I was listening to some music that they released so far this year. So, yep.
Honestly, both our things sound like us. Like, we know each other now, so I'm not surprised your top song of the year is freaking Joe Jonas.
Yeah, because last year was Leave Before You Love Me by the Jonas Brothers. So nothing new had changed. But I listened to 827 artists this year, but one ruled the world, and you'll never guess who it is.
Joe Jonas.
No, Taylor Swift.
Oh! Ew! Dude! What the fuck?
I'm done. Mom, can you believe Kristen's top artist of the year was Taylor Swift? Kristen's top artist of the year was Taylor Swift. Yeah, it's disgusting.
Man,
I can't believe it.
you spent 1,584 minutes together. You were in the top 4% of Taylor Swift listeners this year, so I didn't make the 1%. Okay, so I had to tell you this what happened last year. When I was listening to the Jonas Brothers a lot last year, I was in the 0.01% of listeners of the Jonas Brothers last year.
Oh, God.
So this year, I went drastically down. Well, not down, but the percentage changed. But from that, though, it was like All Too Well. That was the song I listened to the most from her. But my top artists overall were number 1, Taylor Swift, number 2, Harry Styles, which I was very surprised about because I felt like I listened to him just as much as Taylor. Number 3 was Dance Gavin Dance. I listened to them a lot last year, which was a huge change from my taste in music. And then number 4 is Billie Eilish. And then because I went to go see them this past year with my sister, number 5 was Big Time Rush.
Nice.
Yeah. So that was my Spotify rap. So my top genre is pop, and if that doesn't say enough about me, then I don't know what
You're a white girl. Yeah. White Girl Wednesday. It is Wednesday when we're recording 2020.
Oh, and my listen, if anybody cared, my listening personality was the fan clubber.
Why am I not that? Wow, that's actually very accurate.
It says you're the type of fan of that artists dream of. When
It's
you
true.
love an artist, you cycle through the entire albums, playing their hits and every song in between. I do listen to the full albums, and then I do like to go back and listen to my favorites, even the low-key favorites that nobody likes. So that's my Spotify rant. What's yours? Tell us your top artist that you got this year in the comments down below.
And why isn't it DaBaby or Doja Cat? I actually like Doja Cat.
I do
like
too. She actually made, I think, from like my top songs when I was looking through the playlist, number 6 was Get Into It. Get Into It. Yeah.
But if we're done with our Spotify raps and you can leave it down in the comment section below, let's get right into the news.
This is CNN, a network of Turner Broadcasting System.
All right, so the news, our upcoming favorite sequel, Avatar 2, has been in the news recently. And the reports came out that James Cameron said that Avatar 2, for it to be successful, has to break all-time box office records to be considered a success. And let me go down here. So according to him, it needs to be the third or fourth highest grossing film in history just to break even. And this is his quote: "Very effing expensive. This film represents the worst business case in movie history. You have to be the third or fourth highest grossing film in history. That's your threshold. That's your break even."
I liked how you said the first part. Can you go back to the first part and said
very effing expensive. This film represents the worst business case in movie.
You said that.
It's just true.
This is very effing expensive. It's true.
This is it. And it's like, so Kristen, what do you think about James Cameron saying, yeah, we need to make this needs to be in the top 5 all time of grossing movies? Because if we look at the top 5, the first Avatar, well, people will count it, doesn't count it. It's number 1 of all time, like highest grossing, because of certain re-releases. Do you think the Avatar 2 will touch that or no?
That's such a good question. I feel like now with the millennial audiences, I think there can be, but for newer audiences, I don't think so. I mean, the only way I'm going to see this movie is if it gets some kind of nominations, and then I'm going on like Half Price Tuesday where I can use it towards a free ticket.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, that's what I'm about giving this movie money.
I've talked to so many people. The only person I've seen that's like interested is my dad. Everyone else does not give a shit. Like they're
nobody cares. It's like
they waited too long, James.
He waited way too long for that. And I mean, there's other movies like, like that waited for like, a sequel to be released, like, the most recent Top Gun Maverick, and that crushed everything this year at the box office. And it's outstanding, and it's one of my favorite films, and like an absolute masterpiece the way the whole film turned out. And I think that's only time will tell until the movie comes out in how many weeks at this point? 3?
At the time of this recording, it's coming out the 16th, so about like 2 weeks.
Okay, yeah. Well, here's the thing. I'm not going to see an opening weekend. I got other movies I want to see. So when it comes to that, are you back opening weekend?
I don't know, opening weekend, probably like the Wednesday after, because that's when my dad and I will be free, because he wants to see it, and I don't even know what the runtime for this is.
They're already promoting that. They're promoting Zoe Saldana everywhere now.
The runtime for Avatar Rated R is 3 hours and 12 minutes. Screw me. I have to sit in the theater for 3. Oh, Christ almighty. It was bad enough. The first one was like 2 hours and 55 minutes long.
I remember when like the first one came out, I think there was like something like it's some kind of intermission for some audiences.
Yes.
Like I didn't see it. Like the only way, because I know that the third one, right, is already filmed from what we had talked.
It's in the process, and he said he has 6 to 7 planned. But honestly, that can lead to another thing. He said also that he has a plan if Avatar 2 doesn't do well, that the third one's just going to be the last one.
That's how it should be, I think. I don't think there's any reason to continue. I don't know why we need 6 or 7. He's trying to create his own Avatar cinematic universe.
Oh God! But does anyone even want to sit in? Like, if there was a video game made between the first one and the second one, I would have been fine, because it's like cool. But like, there has literally been nothing, no comic books, no barely toys, no video games, no TV shows, nothing to be like, hey, we're doing no sequels.
I think what would have been really interesting, I don't know if this is like discussed, but like they do anything with VR or something, like I think that would be really interesting.
No, the only thing they've done is that video game that Ubisoft is doing. It's like an open world game, but then they haven't done anything with that. Let me see. Ubisoft Avatar game. Yeah, Avatar Frontiers of Pandora is third person that's coming out. Oh no, they did have a game. The Frontiers of Pandora. Oh no. Avatar Frontiers of Pandora is an upcoming open world action adventure game based on James Cameron's Avatar film series. The game is being developed by Massive Entertainment and will be published by Ubisoft for the PlayStation 5, Xbox, and Amazon Luna in 2023 or 2024.
I think there was so much time when that property was hot, and I get it. He wanted his time to make the film.
Mm-hmm.
But when the iron is hot, sometimes you gotta just put the steak on the grill. I know it's not the best analogy, but put it on and let it simmer and let audiences come to it. Now I feel like it's too late. There, if anything, I see this film like opening, doing like great opening week, but after that, we got some huge movies coming out. With Babylonian.
Babylon looks so cool. Is it Babylonian or Babylon?
I was called. Maybe I'm saying it wrong.
It's Babylon.
Babylon. And then we got for the rest of the year, Avatar, not Avatar. We were just talking about that. Wakanda Forever is still going strong. We have, the Fablemans coming, not coming out, but it's already out, but, expanding into more theaters. We have, I'm pulling up the list here. We got The Whale coming out. We got I Want to Dance with Somebody, Women Talking, which is the Sarah Pauling film. A Man Called Otto, which is Mark Foster's film with Tom Hanks. We got Alice Darling, which is an Anna Kendrick movie. We got something from Tiffany's, but that's going to be available on Amazon. So Matilda the Musical will have a short run in theaters. And then Empire of the Light, which is like this movie-esque with like it's set in the theater with Olivia Colman and Colin Firth and Toby Jones. It's the Sam Mendes film, which looks outstandingly beautiful, and I heard so many great things about it. So there's a lot Avatar is going to be competing against. Also Puss in Boots, which is getting called a really great film, and Florence Pugh I didn't know was in that, and she's like that one's also got a huge cast. So I think people are going to be subjective this year with their ticket, and just pick the wise decision. I don't know how many people are going to directly go towards Avatar.
I think probably it won't. I don't think it'll bomb. I've seen people like, oh, it's going to tank. Like, no, it's going to make money. I
don't think so. It'll make money, but no.
It's not getting to $1 billion.
I don't see it getting to $1 billion.
If it gets to $1 billion, I will legitimately I don't even know what I'll do. Like,
I don't know.
I'll put a sock in my mouth if it hits $1 billion on camera.
I don't know what we'll do.
Because that's just, I don't know. It's just like I said, the momentum was there. If it came out, the prime time to release Avatar 2 was like 2013, 2012. Like you could take 3 years off.
Even if it released like in 2015 or 16, it would have been fine.
Yeah, but this is a full on 13 years. Just like, dude.
But like I said, Top Gun.
But that's different. Top Gun was it didn't try to hey, even people weren't expecting a sequel with Top Gun, and they had it, and it was good. It's just with Avatar, I like the first Avatar, but a lot of people, they don't really like it. A lot of people like the first Top Gun.
Yeah, that's kind of true.
But who knows?
Who knows?
Yeah, but what's your news topic? But leave the comments below. What do you think is gonna happen with Avatar? Is it gonna make money or not? Let us know. But what's your news topic?
All right, let's get into some comedy drama. Amanda Seyfried questions Lindsay Lohan's if Mean Girls sequel is ever going to happen. Lindsay Lohan and Amanda Seyfried had a Mean Girls reunion and are questioning if a Mean Girls sequel to the original film is ever going to happen. During a conversation that the both actors had for an interview magazine, Seyfried was not entirely sure that a follow-up to the 2004 comedy would ever come into fruition. I couldn't even say that word, so excuse me. I would kill just to do 1 week for all of us playing our own roles on Mean Girls on Broadway, Seyfried said about starring in a musical show. Because Mean Girls 2, is it ever going to happen, she questioned. Lohan replied, I don't know. I heard something about it being a movie, a musical, and I was like, oh no, we can't do that. It has to have the same tone. The Veronica Mars alumna said, yeah, it would just be completely different. And then, as you may know, Mean Girls is a film by Tina Fey based on the Queen Bees and Wannabes by Rosalind Wiseman. The comedy starred Lindsay Lohan, Amanda Seyfried, Lacey Charvet, and Rachel McAdams. And they also followed up with saying, anyway, Tina is busy, Seyfried added by making a follow-up sequel. She'll get around to it. Listen, we're all part of each other's worlds, whether we like it or not, and it's really, really nice to be in contact as adults. Lohan added, yeah, everyone's still the same. It's fun. certain memories that we can't share with anybody else. So, to be fair, A Mean Girls 2 technically kind of came out in 2011,
Was it?
which was like an ABC Family
No, that doesn't
film,
count. We need a full
which does
schedule.
not count, but it did show the return of like Tin Meadows.
Oh my god! But here's the thing. Here's the
But
thing. The same thing with Avatar 2. Do we really need a Mean Girls sequel?
like again, that's like talks the conversation of what we just had. So a Mean Girls sequel should have came out like
2009, 10.
no, like at least 10 years ago when Lindsay Lohan's character Katie would have been graduating. I think that would have been a better idea.
Yeah, because the only reason I would see Mean Girls 2 is like if the college years are like, oh, our kids are in high school now. We gotta like
Like that's gonna be the same redundant stuff which we have seen from time and time again.
Yeah.
But even if it was a 20-year reunion and maybe Katie's doing something to like save the world and because her family did stuff in Africa and stuff like that, and then maybe she's still married to Aaron she's not not married, but who knows, maybe she's with Aaron Samuels or has a different partner, I don't know. But I think the ship has definitely sailed because there's a lot of fans who would love to see a quote unquote original Mean Girls sequel. I love the first film. I grew up with the first film, and all these characters were so great. The film is extremely funny, super quotable, and it just is the way that Tina Fey wrote the film was very relatable for the times of high school and what girls were like, and it's still relatable to nowadays how many girls and young adults in their maturing phase face each other. It's a great film, but it's definitely, I think, sailed as a follow-up film, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Did you watch the Mean Girls film?
I like the first one, and I rewatched the other day, and I'm like, it's still really good because it's like, I feel like it's definitely a 2000s movie. To be honest with you, it's like that just screams 2000s. It's more like I don't know.
The great part is it holds a staple in time from
it does. It's like
2000 to 2010. It definitely is like one of those staples of like probably one of the best. Like if you were able to make a top like 100 film list from 2000 to 2010, Mean Girls would probably be on there. And because for not just the performances, but for Tina Fey's screenplay.
God, I forgot that she wrote that movie.
Yeah. So, I mean, I want to listen to the interview that her and, Amanda Seyfried and Lindsay Lohan did. But it was nice to see them do like a little reunion a little bit.
It was cute, but we will probably get it, but it probably won't be as good as the first one.
No, even if they decide to do a sequel, I think this would probably be something like a Paramount Plus thing.
Oh, God.
Which we'll talk about later. But, Mac, what's your next piece of news?
A new trailer came out today for Elizabeth Banks' new movie, Cocaine Bear.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Let me give you the situation that happened today. Mac sent me a text and he's like, "Did you see Cocaine Bear?" And I was like, "Excuse me, what?" And you just sent me the trailer, and then I watched it as soon as I got out of work, and I'm just like, "What the hell is this?"
So, if any of you don't know, that Cocaine Bear is directed by Elizabeth Banks. It's coming out next year. It's actually one of the last films Ray Liotta did before he died. And it's based on a true events, like true story about how a black bear in Kentucky went on a murderous rampage after ingesting, I think, 10 duffel bags worth of cocaine.
It's hard for me to imagine that this was based on a true story.
And the thing is, the real bear, it's taxidermy, and it's on the museum in one of the Kentucky's museums.
That is going to be the next biggest tourist attraction.
Because it stars Kerry Russell, O'Shea Jackson Jr., Christian Convery Jennings, Alden Ehrenreich, Jesse Tyler Ferguson, Brooklyn Prince, Isaiah Whitlock Jr., Christopher Haivu, Hannah Huxier, Aaron Holiday, Margot Matilda, and Ray Liotta.
Got Han Solo in it.
Yeah, but yeah, Kristen, what did you think of the trailer?
certainly wild. Definitely something I was not expecting. And here's the thing. Do I like Elizabeth Banks? No. And do I like her as director? No.
She's hit or miss.
Not even. Did you see Walk of Shame?
I saw Charlie's Angel.
Walk of Shame is just as worse.
Oh God.
And I never really liked her directing. I know she did like Pitch Perfect too. I think her as a director never really like stuck with me. Like, well, here's the other thing. She didn't direct Walk of Shame, so my bad. She directed Pitch Perfect 2.
Charlie's Angel.
Charlie's Angels. A segment for movie 43. Do you remember how awful that was?
That's like an infamous movie that we don't even talk about.
And then she directed some short films. But I was very surprised that she got her little bear paws on this film.
Well, honestly, who else would make a movie like this?
To make something like this.
Seth who?
Seth Rogen.
Seth MacFarlane would do something like that.
Seth MacFarlane even could have done something. Well, here's the thing. He's got Ted. So that's his own little, like, cocaine bear.
Oh, my gosh. But I think it looks funny. I'm going to watch it.
I mean, it looks insane. It looks ridiculous. So, who knows? Like I said, just like a Half Price Tuesday, maybe I'll put it towards a free movie ticket. And
it looks funny. My life is complete if I can see a bear run a line on a fish.
And let me say, the animation for the bear, or like the CGI bear, because it's very CGI.
Mm-hmm.
It looks god awful.
Oh yeah, no, especially when the bear was jumping in the air. I was like,
and
Jesus
I
Christ.
don't know if it was intentional that way.
I think so, because this looks like a cheap movie.
It looks like a cheap movie, the way that it is, and then the way it wanted to make it off like those other cheap movies, like you see like at the $5 bin, or like those movies that you see on like the Sci-Fi Network.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I wonder if it was like going to be like a parody of that.
Possibly.
So I'm curious about it. I think this is like the project. I think that at least one that she has worked on has me kind of interested, and maybe I'll go see it. So it comes out February 24th of the next year, correct?
Yes, 2023 theatrical.
And she didn't write this one.
No, it's by someone else.
Jimmy Wardens. So I know that she wrote the screenplay to Charlie's Angels, and the screenplay for Charlie's Angels apparently was also completely trash.
That movie was whole trash. But Kristen, what's your last news story?
My last news story is another piece of Paramount news. Have you been watching anything on Paramount Plus, Mac?
When it's not crashing, I try to.
Well, have you watched Tulsa King?
No.
The Sylvester Stallone series? You haven't watched it?
No.
Well, get ready. It's coming back for season 2.
Yay.
Sylvester Stallone is going to return to TV once again. Paramount Plus has renewed Tulsa King from Yellowstone's Tyler Sheridan. I haven't watched Yellowstone yet. My parents are loving it, though. They're binging it.
Really?
And this comes after only 3 episodes of the show have aired on the streaming service. So if you guys don't know, the drama follows a New York mafia capo, Dwight the General Manfredi, who's played by Sloan, just after he is released from prison to set up a shop in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Realizing that his mob family may not have his best interests in mind, Dwight slowly builds a quote-unquote crew from a group of unlikely characters, helping him establish a new criminal empire in a place that, to him, might as well be another planet.
Oh, wow.
Tulsa King also stars Andrea Savage, Martin Starr, Jay Will, Vincent Piazza, and Dana Delaney. So, Mac, if you're not watching Tulsa King, do you have a show that you would like to recommend audiences to?
No. I just want to be honest. I'm the worst person to talk about. Like, I don't know. I'm the worst person to talk about like TV series. I just watch a lot of old stuff. I don't really watch a lot of new stuff. If I watch anything new, it's rare. Like I think the only new TV series I watched this year was Peacemaker. And Andor. I would suggest Andor. Andor is it's the third best Star Wars Disney Star Wars thing they've done.
You typically like to watch the besides the going to theaters. You also will stream movies from time to time, correct?
Correct.
When we plan something, but for at least for me, Tulsa King isn't that bad, even though I was surprised it got renewed.
Well,
but then
actually,
again, it's Stallone.
I will say, give Yellowstone a watch.
Yellowstone, that one's on. If you want to stream Yellowstone, that one is on Peacock.
That's what I watch. It's good.
My parents are obsessed with it and
it's
love it.
Really, really good. And then the prequel they have really is awesome.
That's the 1883, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, and then they also have the 1932 that's going to come out with Helen Mirren and Harrison Ford, and that's the one I want to see.
Yeah, actually, one last thing. Did you hear about Indiana Jones 5?
Yeah.
They're going to de-age Harrison Ford.
Which I was like, what? They're pulling up the Irishman.
He's 80 years old. They're going to try to make him look like he's 50.
All right, we're de-aging again. They're pulling a Martin Scorsese, an Irishman.
Stop it.
All right, but guys, also on Paramount Plus, they have the Blues Clues movie that just dropped.
I heard that was good.
I didn't watch it yet. It came out like Thanksgiving time, and I was just like, oh my God, I want to watch it because it has all three Steves.
It has, it's the Spider-Man No Way Home.
Yes, it is the cinematic preschool universe. What is it? What's the word? Perfect word.
I don't know.
Eureka moment, I guess, in preschool history. So, but yeah. But like I said, I'm watching Tulsa King. Let me know if you're watching it. If you want to talk about it. I mean, it's an okay series so far. I mean, it's Stallone playing Stallone. And he's got some good moments to it. I will admit that. So, yeah. That's the news I got.
If you have any news stories for us to share, just leave them in the comments below.
Or send them to us.
Yeah.
Send them our way at the M&K Productions Podcast at gmail.com.
But Kristen, are you ready to rip Robert Zemeckis another new one with his latest film?
Oh, God. This is going to be like a long Band-Aid to heal. Like, when a Band-Aid, you're trying to rip it off your skin, it's painful. This is what it's going to be like talking about Pinocchio.
And I've got to say, in all honesty, it's the biggest piece of dog shit.
All right, so today's review / topic. We mentioned it before in the last episode. We talked about his filmography, Robert Zemeckis, but we mentioned that he has done a new movie this year, and it's the live-action Pinocchio movie that is on Disney Plus right now, and it stars Tom Hanks, and is a telling of the 1843 Italian book, and is actually a remake of the 1940 film of the same name. And I think this is maybe like the 8th live action Pinocchio movie they've ever done, or maybe like 3rd. But if you don't know the story about Pinocchio, it's about I think I barely remember the story of Pinocchio. Okay, no, never mind. It's about this wooden puppet made by what's his name? Geppetto, Papa Geppetto from Woodcarver, and he wants to be a real boy. That's kind of the whole plot of it. And so this one is coming out around the same time because Guillermo del Toro is doing a Pinocchio movie, and it's coming out on Netflix on December 9th. So I don't know why the hell we have so many Pinocchio movies. Like, what's the monopoly for it? But so far, the early reviews for Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio has been good, of course. But the Robert Zemeckis one, people say this is shit. And we can agree.
And that is correct.
This was shit. I watched this movie drunk, and I barely remember it.
I watched this movie with my family.
Oh, God. Yes,
yeah, so that was a whole ordeal. And I watched this film the week it came out.
Oh, God.
And that was the week of September 8th. And I said to myself, I'm going to watch this again for the podcast.
You're like, we're going to do this. I'm like, really? Do we have to?
Well, no, because we were like, had this plan since we were doing the Robert Zemeckis. And I was like, this would be great. And then they had all these ideas for this film to make this film extremely creative because Sam Mendes and Paul King were originally considered to direct. And then eventually Robert Zemeckis came in, like, swooping in.
They went with the Dollar General director. They're like, damn it. All right, Robert, you can do this. What are you doing?
All right, Robert.
You did Witches 2 years ago, but we'll give you Pinocchio.
You're like, all right, we'll let you know it. All right, Robert. Nobody else will let you know it. And then, you know, and then there was this whole big thing because, I remember when Joseph Gordon-Levitt was casted.
Yes.
I love Joseph Gordon-Levitt was casted, and I heard that he was going to play Geppetto. Not Geppetto. I always get him, Jiminy Cricket.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, that's really great casting. That's really, really good. And then I heard Tom Hanks as Geppetto, and I was like, that's another good, really good casting choice. And then I heard Cynthia Erivo as the Blue Fairy. Okay, that's another good acting choice. And then the rest, then it all eventually came out because it was all filmed like during like COVID, and it all looked really, really.
It looks
bad.
horrible.
It looked like it lacked everything that the original Pinocchio had, and the visuals of it all were.
It looks cheap. I don't even know. Can we get a budget on this?
The budget, according to Wikipedia, no.
I'm gonna look it up.
Wikipedia doesn't even say it.
That's not right. No, that can't be right.
I would love to know what
it's saying. It's $35 million, but it's Guillermo del Toro's one. It's not there's no budget numbers for the 2022 one.
Let me tell you, the one for Guillermo del Toro's one looks like there is less.
Well, Guillermo knows what to do with even so it's like this is the problem is like this is I'm gonna assume it's multi-million-dollar, probably like $50 million you have to pay everyone, or maybe $100 million.
It's probably in the same ballpark as where Jungle Book.
Yeah, there's no reason that Disney can make a film that looks this is on par with art. This looks worse than Artemis Fowl. I never thought I would say that.
No, it is.
No, it looks worse.
It is just as bad as Artemis Fowl.
Artemis Fowl had some moments where I'm like, I can believe this was all terrible.
Oh, it's just as bad. Like, I already know that Pinocchio's Robert Zemeckis is going to be like on my probably my top 10 worst films.
I don't even know if it'll be like I don't know. I generally don't know.
I like just going back to like saying how Tom Hanks was Geppetto. I didn't think that was going to be a bad casting choice. I found him to be just as annoying as Pinocchio.
I think with Tom Hanks now, he's had a point in his career where he's kind of just doing. I don't even know if he's just. I think I just call he's settling for roles, and I don't like that because I feel like with him, he's at that point where he's like one of the all-time greats. Like he can just do any movie he wants and then like half-ass it. I feel like he was half-assing it here. Like
I can at least agree to that one, but as opposed to like something like he did like an Elvis, I don't think he was.
No,
I think he takes himself really seriously when it's films that he actually like
cares about.
See himself playing, like this one.
Well, I think this one
he was
probably
easily on board just for the paycheck and just did it because of Robert Zemeckis have that connection.
Probably did as the favor. It's like I'll pay you money. All right, fine. It just didn't make sense for it. Like everything. I never thought at Pinocchio, he looks so creepy in this. Like, what the hell? This is one of those.
I don't.
You scared the shit out of me.
Sorry. We had some technical issues, guys. I don't know who is in charge of special effects here.
Let's look at it. Let's see if we can find it.
Yeah, go to the IMDb and the IMDb Pro and see what they say.
Moving Picture Company.
Okay.
It is a multinational providing visual effects. What have they done? Out of Order, Richard 3, Hackers, Gold. They did GoldenEye?
How did they do this?
They did Muppet Treasure Island, The Mask of Zorro, The World Is Not Enough. They've done a lot of the James Bond movies. They did Enemy at the Gates?
I loved your emphasis on that.
No, they did Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. No.
Don't forget, DNEG contributed to part of the visual production. Virtual production.
They've worked on The Inception, Interstellar, Ex Machina, Blade Runner 2049, First Man, Tenet, and Dune. There's no excuse for that.
There is no excuse for the animation or visual effects that happen here. Like, it's amazing. Like, they didn't decide to do like anything like where the way Guillermo del Toro wanted to use like the stop motion. Like, no one at the Disney was like, oh, we should use maybe like a stop motion or like do something creative. Like there's nothing creative that stands out to this film and just screams that, we made this entirely original and like entirely original story, Like I know like it says on the Wikipedia part that it says the performances were praised. Like that's like the thing that surprises me most. Like none of the performances were that good.
No.
Like I will give credit where credit is due. Like Joseph Gordon-Levitt does provide some of the cheery moments, and like he's like the consciousness. Like he does like at least a good job part of like narrating the story of that.
Mm-hmm.
But everything else, like even down to the wire of Benjamin Evan Ainsworth, who does the voice work of Pinocchio, I was ready to rip my hair out.
Hey, at least it sucks because he was like the guy's like, Father, when can I go out on my own? I want to see the world.
Yeah, I mean, it's better than Pauly Shore. I will give credit that. and it's better than Fredia Shaw's acting in Artemis Fowl.
Oh. Yeah,
or no, maybe
right.
is it just
as
bad?
No,
sorry,
I'm right.
I'm being very mean. I don't want to be mean to the children.
Shout out to Artemis Fowl. We'll never
no,
forget me.
I don't want to shout out Artemis Fowl.
The first movie we did post COVID, like or not during the COVID era, was like a new release. That's wild. That was 2 years ago.
No. This movie also, when I watched it after, it drained me.
It drained me when I was watching it. I wasn't even there. I just didn't know what was going on.
And did the one thing that also really annoy you was that the coachman, like Luke Evans, was in this? Like I thought he was gonna play a more prominent role. Like I don't understand like how some of these actors were placed in here.
I guess being say you have Disney on your thing could work.
Yeah, because he was just Luke Evans was in, Beauty and the Beast, and he was supposed to have his live spin-off Gaston show, and then Gaston got canceled. That's not happening anymore.
I just can't believe they got freaking I'm really shocked they got I don't know how Joseph Gordon-Levitt said I'll be in this. He must have really was a little pissed. He wasn't gonna be just
I feel like when they were showing I feel like there was, because there's always concept art before production goes into release. Joseph, he's really into film because he had that hit record and stuff like that, and he's always adamant about young actors and creating and like getting inspired. Like he's got all those creative juices flowing, and him as an artist. Even if you look at his Instagram and you look at all of his creative works, he's a very, very passionate artist and filmmaker.
And I respect him. I respect him for that. I like him.
I do too, and I feel
he's one of the most underrated actors, like probably this generation.
Yeah, and just one actor who I would love to see win an Academy Award for his work.
Yeah, he should have won something.
Really good.
He should have won something for The Walk. I think
he should have been recognized. But speaking of Robert Zemeckis, but when he was shown, I guess maybe the concept art, maybe because there's always had to be like an idea of like concept art. I feel like to give an idea of what Jiminy Cricket could look like, and for that. It was probably decent. Like I feel like this would have been better. Like I said, if they did something like a route of like where Guillermo del Toro was in it, and I feel like if this didn't exist, this Pinocchio film, I think Joseph Gordon-Levitt could have been a really great casting choice for Guillermo del Toro's film.
Oh yeah, definitely. But like you said, Tom Hanks, and I guess more like. They chose Tom Hanks, I want to say, because it's the name recognition too, because you're like I know, like I said, I like Joseph Gordon-Levitt, but a lot of people would be like, who?
Yeah. How'd you think of the pacing was? Because this film almost was like 2 hours long.
It felt 3. It did
feel like 3.
I feel like there were scenes where like, okay, that can end the movie like that. All right, let's get.
And the way it just felt like we were just all on these separate Pinocchio stories. Mm-hmm. Like nothing felt like it all connected in a way. Like Pinocchio was just like, I'm gonna run away. And he did the thing with, the ballerina. he did the thing with the coachman. He became a star, yada yada yada.
It's
And
just,
then he was.
I don't know. It feels all over the place. Like that's the thing
It
with
did.
That's the thing with Robert Zemeckis. I've always said that's one of his biggest flaws. He doesn't know how to pace a movie because even with Forrest Gump, which I love, I know people hate Forrest Gump. The pacing in that kind of feels a little bit at times.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the same thing with Pinocchio. Like I really feel like the pacing was really inconsistent. There was times where I'm like, okay, you can end it right there. Oh, you're not ending right there. Okay, let's keep going.
And speaking of the pacing, once the film comes to its conclusion, like I'm gonna just spoil it because this film has been almost out for like almost 2 months now.
I was gonna say, yeah, 2 months down.
Okay. So when he and his father or Geppetto are doing the thing with, the by the sea monster, and they get sneezed out. I was like, okay, they have to get home, but it looks like Geppetto died, but he didn't. And then there's a tear that revives Geppetto, something like a Little Mermaid type thing.
The funny thing is that
or Beauty and the Beast type thing.
I know it's if you said the whale, it's like there are better versions of Pinocchio. Like how many versions of Pinocchio we've gotten throughout the years.
Yeah, it's obnoxious, and I feel like we are over the Pinocchio phase, but you gotta do it creatively.
VeggieTales did it better, and wait, remember
VeggieTales did it better?
No. Actually, did you ever watch Billy and Mandy as a kid?
Yeah, well, Billy and Mandy. I don't think it was like one of my favorites. I know you really enjoyed it.
Do you remember the Pinocchio parody they had?
No.
Well, their version of Pinocchio was that he had to eat Billy's flesh to become a real boy.
That's morbid. I feel like
it was funny because like the first time they met him, Mandy turned into a chair that like some big lady sat on him and like broke him. He died, and then the second time they had the whale bit, and he's like, "I'm cooking Billy's flesh." And the funniest thing is, Pinocchio is voiced by the voice of Robin from Teen Titans. So every time you hear him talk, you hear Robin just being psycho.
I don't even know how to react to that.
It's funny.
All right,
look up Grim Adventures Billy and Mandy Pinocchio. You'll not be.
All right, I'll look it up. I'll do it as soon as I'm done with this. So the tear, it shows that Pinocchio is able to prove himself as a real boy, and then he turns into a real boy, and then right from where they were, washed up on this like beach area. They walk him and Geppetto walk into the sunset and go home. It felt the ending was so blah to me. Like at least the ending, in the original 1940 film kind of left a lasting impression on me because the ending for that is so emotional,
Yeah.
This one, they feel like they half ate it. The blue fairy shows up again because the blue fairy only shows up once in this film.
Yeah, thanks for wasting Cynthia Erivo.
Yeah, because in the original it says, they go back home and it's supposedly shown that Pinocchio was killed. In this one, they don't do that. It's Geppetto that was killed. But then, Jiminy, Fiago, and Cleo and everybody, they mourn over the lost Pinocchio, and then Pinocchio, what the way he is, so he chose to prove his worth and everything, and bravery, yada yada yada, and he's supposed to prove himself as a real boy, and then that's when the blue fairy shows up and she turns Pinocchio into the real boy. Like that one had a more impactful ending than this one. Like what is the point of the teardrop? Like it's supposed to mean something symbolic when Pinocchio's supposed to turn into the real boy. Like this one does not feel like anything here. It felt like he was a privileged brat who got away with so many things and getting into trouble and seeing like, oh, Geppetto wasn't really like that, because wasn't there like a thing where all the kids were drinking all the soda or something like that, and they were getting away and getting in trouble? Like they went to that island where all the kids were like kidnapped and stuff.
I think so. I barely remember this movie.
And I will admit, Pinocchio is scary to a degree. Seeing children turned into donkeys.
Yeah, no, the what was it,
That's
the 80s movie that they
no,
did?
and that is in this film. That is
Yeah,
happening in all the Pinocchio movies.
like I don't know what the like was that part of the original fairy tale? Like donkeys? Like I don't know. I never
It was.
Oh, that's terrifying.
Like that's a recurring thing that has happened in the Pinocchio films. And they did it in this one. Even when the children turned into donkeys, that one was also very terrifying.
Let's face it,
AI, I did not like that.
AI and Astro Boy were better Pinocchio stories than this movie.
If you watch the 1940 version, like the one thing that scared me about that was the boys and girls turning into donkeys. Like,
oh yeah, that was pretty scary.
It is so scary, and that left like a scarring impression on me. I'm like, I'm never leaving my mom and dad's sight. They want, like, I don't want to run away. Like, that was one thing. Like, after I saw Pinocchio, that was one thing.
Don't run away from your parents, everyone.
Yeah.
But how would we rank this Pinocchio? And what would you say, like, has Robert Zemeckis' latest films kind of brought down your rating of him as like a director? Because it's been Welcome to Marwen, The Witches, and now this.
Yeah, it is not looking good. He is not feeling good. And I'm going to give the film a 1 out of 10 because the 1 is for Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Oh,
who had to put up with all this.
I'll give it a 2. Like, I think that Joseph Gordon-Levitt was the best character in this movie, even for his but it's just like it just felt very uninspired. Like it was just kind of just felt like it just kind of felt like, hey, we have to keep up with the live action Disney remakes, and like this felt like the most low key out of all of them. Because maybe because they didn't have it yet, maybe they knew this movie was gonna be shit, so that's why they put it on Disney Plus.
They put it out on Disney Plus Day.
Yeah, I was wondering, I'm like, why wasn't this in theaters?
COVID. So
I'd probably give it like a 2. Yeah, 2 out of 10. But it's definitely like my number. It's in the top 10 this year for worst movies of the year.
It's definitely for me, like I said, for that.
It's not number 1, maybe like 7, 6, maybe.
Yeah, it's for me. It's definitely not number 1 because I've definitely have seen worse, but this is one of the worst I've seen.
Yeah.
It just makes me like more annoyed to talk about it.
But since we're done with Pinocchio, what did you think of the comment section below? And I ain't gonna lie, we don't really have an outro. I kind of don't feel like doing box office things, and I'm very tired.
So we're not really gonna talk about it. I don't think that was up for discussion.
No. So Kristen, what's on the M&K up front? Like what's
that was the next segment.
Yeah, what's next up on the? We're gonna seamlessly transition to the outro. Cue the outro cue.
There's a new game, and it's tearing the streets up. Lace your boots if you think you can keep up. Bra and panties match with a diva stripped down. Build your character so strong, opponents skip town. But y'all rookies got a lot to learn. You ain't guaranteed fame, what you get, you earn. It's a school of hard knocks where you pay your dues. Toughness is measured in your black and blues. Starting small-time gyms where your chances are slim. Or rocking a leather belt laced with gold trim. The world title, you got the guts to take it. It's a cutthroat game, very few make it. You in the weak games, man, this ain't you. This is real life passion, THQ. The Legends roster stacked with Hall of Famers. Tough enough to beat even polished gamers. A bunch of superstars, SmackDown and Raw. They ready to fight, we gon' crack down your jaw. I'm your number 1 choice, man, your boy is sick. With moves so hot, I light up your joystick. Everybody else is lame, dude. They can't see me, I be running the GameCube. Day of reckoning's coming, remember I told you. Keep your friends close and your enemies closer.
GameCube. Rated T for teen.
All right, I just don't even know how to transition from that conversation, but upcoming next, we are going to talk Guardians of the Galaxy and the latest holiday special directed by James Gunn. We are going to talk about that next time. We are also going to be discussing Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio as well, because why not? If we talked about this, we're going to compare and contrast, see which one is better. It's probably obviously going to be the Guillermo del Toro one. It's pretty obvious. And here's one thing that I've been seeing popping up. Some people should consider Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio Oscar worthy. Some people are saying that that's the new Pinocchio should be considered Best Picture nomination. How do you feel about that?
I mean, if Guillermo del Toro does a movie, you have to consider it, especially like because he just doesn't miss. It's probably gonna be nominated for best like production design.
I hope it's better than Shape of Water.
Hey,
I'm just smiling at the camera, folks. You know,
you didn't like Shape of Water?
I find it to be overrated.
How dare you? I love that movie. That made me cry.
Anyways, then we're gonna do
No, you're not gonna. Why don't you like Shape of Water?
Anyways, we are gonna.
No, you're avoiding the subject. No. Oh, you finished the M&K up front. We're not done with this.
We are gonna talk Santa Girl. Finally, we are finally gonna talk about Santa Girl, guys. I've at least been wanting to talk about Santa Girl, the movie that starred Jennifer Stone and Devin Werkheiser from Ned's Declassified. This is a free movie you can now watch anywhere.
Hanging out on the street.
And it's a Christmas film where Santa's daughter wants to go to college.
But Dad, I want to go out on my own.
Exactly. So we're going to do a commentary of that. Then we're also going to end the year off right with the best and worst. So that's what we got planned for the end of the year. Slightly beginning new year. So Mac, any final words?
Why don't you like Shape of Water? Don't ignore it.
Should we wait for that for when we discuss Pinocchio?
No. Now.
For one thing, I don't like the fact that you can fall in love with whoever you want. I just couldn't get on board with a fish.
Listen, don't you realize, like, you just want to do it with a fish?
No.
The silence there, holy shit. But
anyways, guys,
I like Shape of Water. I think that was good. My friend was supposed to meet me, but he couldn't go, so I ended up going by myself, and I liked it. It was pretty good. It was my favorite movie of 2017, and that kind of like wrapped up it was special because that's like the first movie I've ever given a perfect rating out of. I think because that was the first year I started reviewing movies.
Oh.
So but yeah, that's gonna do it for us. We want to thank you all for tuning in and hope you have a good night. I'm going to go and fall asleep now because Jack Daniels is hitting different. I have been Mac. This has been Kristen, and we'll see you all in the next episode. Bye.
Bye, folks.
In a middle school full of bullies, insane teachers, and gross school lunches. Ned Bigby, that's me, and my two best friends try to do the impossible. Create a guide that will help you survive school. Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide. Yours ultimate vary.